Good evening and welcome to the Edessa the Dark Crusade. A bit of a misnomer in this case, since we are not in Edessa, but to the northeast, in a city called Amida. Kind of a different town, different fortress town, quite different from Edessa. Madeline has been spending a couple of days here. Well, she's met the prince, she's met the seneschal and a harpy, different other people, but she has been enjoying her stay somewhat. She's been somewhat careful, given the sense that this city is under the quite firm and tight grip of Clan Assamite, who seem to be very, very concerned with, well, everything in this city, essentially. It's somewhat early in the evening, and Madeline is making her way to the Elysium, the place that she met certain Zemila, a harpy. And she spoke somewhat, well, a little with. Enjoyable enough company.
Oh yeah, she is most delightful. She's currently going on the comings and goings of the city. She talks like you quite a lot because you are new. You are exotic, effectively. She talks about how many Assamites there are here and how isolationist they are, and it's so boring. There's nothing to do. It's just do this, do that. She doesn't even think she'd have a job as a harpy if it weren't for the other canines within the domain. Wouldn't be any need. She also she does talk quite highly of the seneschal though, and obviously takes a few bites into hear the sheriff.
Madeline will just say, well, it is quite unfortunate that you are bored. I hope that I at least will keep you occupied for a little.
Oh, you most certainly have. It's so boring here. It's just do this, do that. Business every day. It's like, apparently, there's apparently no room for fun and enjoyment. It's ridiculous.
Well, I have met a couple of Canaanites in my time, and some people's definition of fun would, well, be less productive. But I suppose you and your sheriff having the views on, well, affairs as you do, that probably limits what you can do.
Well, there's so many Assamites here. I probably wouldn't have this role if it weren't for the other Canaanites in the domain. After all, what one clanmate knows, everybody knows. So what would be the point?
Well, you are not necessitated to do this, but, well, unless you are, of course, commanded, then I do not know so, but, well, given you would have the choice, what would you think a good change for the city would be? I mean, as you say, it is boring. Just another influx of Kenites who are not of your clan?
I'd certainly spice things up. Our clan could learn a thing or two. We're very good at regulating others, so they could stand to learn a thing or two from us. We could keep them from running amok.
Mm.
And in return, I get to enjoy myself once a century.
And what exactly do you do for enjoyment? Given the choice that you would be free to enjoy yourself as you see fit. I am curious.
Well, what's a harpy if she doesn't have a party around her at every single moment of the night? For the record, out of character, she does end up people end up going as you talk throughout the night, she has had people approach her, and she's either praised or reprimanded them in some way, and then the conversation changes tack, and eventually they separate. But you two have remained together for most of the night.
You're saying she's reprimanded like more than once?
Yeah, she's reprimanded people in front of you, for being
Okay.
idiots, or kind of in a harpyish way, formed row sort of thing.
Do you travel ever?
I've gotten around. Not very far from them. After all, I wouldn't be a harpy for very long if I kept leaving the city.
Hmm. Well, I would be honored to host you in Timuran if you ever found yourself wanting to have a small getaway to another place.
Oh, well, that opportunity I think I'd very much enjoy.
Well, I hope you will at some point. But honestly, I do not see why the two of us should, just by us being separated, should stop talking. There must be ways that we can keep contact when I leave.
You can always send letters.
Hmm.
I suppose it depends on your preferred manner of communication.
Letters would, I suppose, would do fine. I will just have to take one note or two as to where to send them to, but there should be enough travel back and forth to be able to carry such messages.
Right, I could think of nothing better.
Very good. I do believe that we will see more of each other in the future. I do not know when, of course, but and I must say I'm looking forward to it. Clan Assamite is not at all what I had expected so long ago when I was first introduced to your clan.
Yeah, what dice roll are we in?
We are in Dice Roller 1.
Okay. Sorry, what was your last sentence?
Oh, she said like that she her perception on Clan Assamite had changed a lot. As for the like what she was introduced to when she was a neonate, essentially.
Sorry, what was she introduced to while she was a neonate?
Clan Assamite. Like she was also mentioned before, like she didn't have in her neonate days had a lot of contact with Assamites, but now that she's beginning to get more and more contact, she's appreciating them more and more. That's essentially what she's saying.
Well, sorry. I'm glad to see your perspective is broadening. Mine certainly isn't.
Oh, well, then I hope that my clan is somewhat of a good reputation. I would hate to have given a bad impression, of course, but...
I have a lovely reputation. It's one of our primary competitors in the region.
Is that a good reputation?
You tell me.
Well...
Is it the reputation the Lasombra want, is perhaps a better question.
Well, it's a good question, though. I would not be able to answer you completely, but I think most Canaanites tend to want one reputation, but in reality, we all deserve maybe not too different, but a bit different of a reputation.
The Lasombra have a mixed reputation, particularly around here. They're quite a divisive force. Your clan has the rather dubious honour of fighting for and against the Crusades at the same time, fighting for and against the downfall of Constantinople, and for and against the Assamite cause within this region. Jeremiah is a rather vocal proponent of the latter. For some reason, he doesn't seem to like the clan very much. But I'm sure you can change that.
There are so many who sometimes have difficulties really separating Clan Ventruse and Clan La Sombra. Well, I would not say that I cannot understand this country. It seems to be certain features that are present in both clans, but if nothing else, one can appreciate the Ventru for being industrious. I think they have a problem with us because we fill out many of the same spaces. And when one fills the space of another, well, hostilities or tensions tend to rise.
I can only imagine the only tensions here are between Tahir and myself. It'd be wonderful to have someone mix it up.
Hmm.
If nothing else, Jeremiah's doing a good job of that. Who knows, maybe in spite of everything, you might come together.
Hmm.
Makes it an interesting little spectacle for us all to enjoy.
When you say spicing it up, is it just words or?
I'm happy, darling. Everything I say is just words.
No, no, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Jeremiah.
Oh, well, I don't think you trust anyone enough to tell the absolute truth. Which I think would imply a yes, wouldn't you think?
Quite so. But merchants are not really known for sitting idle.
Has
And,
any Canaanite ever been truly honest?
well, no.
I certainly wouldn't call it a surprise to hear that a Canaanite lied to another. Which I think says it all.
Honestly, I would be quite surprised if I ever found a Canaanite that did not lie. She stops and just looks, thinks for a moment. Well, as a matter of fact, I do believe I have met one who does not lie. But, granted, it was one. A strange man indeed, but quite an interesting meeting.
So, Jeremiah, huh? Alessandra looking to pull her strings on the would-be lord, perhaps?
Well, I have there are certain things I enjoy more than others, but, well, I seek to advance my clan's interests. And, well, that can be done in many ways. Sometimes, verbally sparring or outright insulting even true is just a perk. But Jeremiah cannot be all bad. He is still here after all. He has not been told to leave the city.
Well, you can say that to hear.
What was that? Sorry?
You can say that to hear.
Your sheriff seems to kick people out whenever he has the chance, no?
Precisely, you would have thought you would have kicked him out already. Wonder why you allowed him to stay. Because the prince certainly hasn't said anything on the matter. That's not true. Actually, that's not true because I believe I told you something completely different yesterday. So she wouldn't say that. Just no reason to bullshit you. Not yet.
Mm.
I suppose the prince's word is stronger than his. I'm actually surprised he stays by him. I wonder what their history is.
I don't know much of war, but it does seem to forge some very strong bonds between Cainites and mortals alike. I would not be surprised if they have fought together.
The prince does most of the work anyway.
The prince, sorry, the prince what?
The prince does most of the work anyway. I just gotta be RB real quick.
Intermission.
My apologies.
What? It is okay. We are lenient towards a sick ST. Well, I hope to improve many things in my city, Edessa, this city, if I can.
If you want to improve things, I would suggest you have a chat with Jeremiah.
Oh,
At least at some point during your evening. You want to get to know both sides of the city. He's the other half.
very well.
Besides, I know you're going to negotiate with the prince, in part because I'm neither blind, deaf, or stupid. Be able to find something useful. He'll probably come at you very hard. It's a habit of his. False sense of security, then. They come at you full throttle, awfully warrior-like. I suppose he picked it up from Tahir. But it's been useful for the domain, I suppose.
Good to know.
I am wonderful to know.
As I said, there will always be a standing invitation for you in Timaran.
Appreciated. Maybe I'll come visit.
I would look very much forward to it. But I will also be in touch quite soon. And she will, but I will see if I can have a chat with Jeremiah. And Madeline gets up. And we'll see if there is a Ventru-shaped merchant somewhere in the vicinity.
One moment. Sorry, I cannot do appropriate images. Oh. Right. Oh, Raycam, what you doing? There you go.
And Madeline will come over. I mean, if he's talking with someone one-on-one, she won't barge in, but if not, she will just come over and curtsy and just say, "Good evening, Jeremiah. I'm quite certain that is your name, yes?"
He looks at you with this rather shocked, eccentric look. But not really shocked. His eyes are kind of big and open and wide, but then they kind of like fit his face in a way. He looks quite, again, eccentric, odd. Oh, and how may I help you, dear?
Oh, I would very much enjoy a moment of your time. You seem to turn quite a few heads in this city, and, well, that is always, in my mind, a good quality for a person to have.
He kind of almost drunkenly points at you. But again, it seems to be something. Actually, roll me perception. Perception, empathy.
Four successes.
Okay, this definitely seems to be more of an eccentricity rather than anything else. It's not. He seems to have quite a lot of quirks in his behavior.
Hmm.
Again, he almost comes across as if he was slightly tipsy. Yeah, his eyes are kind of wide open. It's like it's not aggressive, but it's almost like it's like almost he's comedically staring into your soul in a way, in a comedic sense rather than an intimidating one. His hands kind of sway, like his body kind of sways a little bit. His hands more so. They kind of play with the goblet in his hand. The other hand is firmly in his pocket. And he seems to his smile twitches slightly. He's a very odd fellow in his expression of body language.
Madeline's smile just grows a little bit more. She just looks at him, takes in this bit of an off behavior. She just says, "Well, as I said, I would not perhaps. Oh, well, where are my manners? My name is Sister Madeleine. Ancilla of Clan Lesombra. And you are of Clan Ventru, yes?"
I am the most patricious of patricians, yes.
Very good. I must ask you, how long have you been in this city? I would think that a person who seems to be a known face would have quite an affinity for this place, no? I hope that is the case.
Affinity, well, I have the finest wines of Arabia right here, as he kind of moves his goblet with his hand to kind of just um, basically in front of him, like as if you wanted to take a drink from it. Yes, I have a great affinity for this place. It's vitae, it's blood.
Okay, but and she would just, that is good to hear. Are there people around, or is this a conversation between two people?
This conversation between two people, but there are people around. It would be safe it wouldn't be safe to say that your conversation is necessarily private, though it could be if you lower your voices or conspire in a more subtle way.
She will just gesture to him. Would you do me the honor of giving me company? We would take a little walk. Oh, perhaps over there at that table.
Madame, I am all yours. He'll go to the table.
And she sits down and smiles at him and just says, "It must take quite a few things to stay afloat in a city controlled by Clan Asamite. It is commendable."
It's not the Assamites one really has to worry about. Talifa is a lovely lady, and the prince is a most amiable gentleman. It's that to hear bastard that keeps getting in the way of my business all the time. These warriors make a fucking mess of things.
So it is one part of the clan that is your problem, and not the clan as a whole.
Everyone has their idiots. The Assamites just decided to endorse a third of them. You wouldn't. Couldn't explain to me why you'd do that. Don't know why you'd enrich your own thuggery. Foolish. The man engages in xenophobic. Sorry. Engages in xenophobic nonsense against anyone not of his own. Even the socialites and the magicians of his clan have difficulty containing him. It's ridiculous. These warriors, they breed within their own ignorance. It's a danger, if you ask me. If they'd educate themselves, we'd all be better off. I'm just here to do some common business. Moved away from my clan. I'd have come in to move towards them. I'd do that, I'd go back to fucking England.
You call from all the way from England?
Awfully dodgy place. You gotta give it to Mithras. He runs a tight ship. But I don't do well in tight ships or tight clothes. I prefer a bit of air to my breeches.
Well, of that I will leave that judgment of what you need to do yourself.
It's not just them. Arcadius is just as bad. You ever heard of Arcadius?
Arcadius? Is that like a known character? Because I can't remember if that's like...
One sec. I'm just double checking on your behalf. 1 second. Beep beep boop. Yeah, Robbie, do you have Venture Law? You don't have Venture Law, do you?
Nope, I do not have ventral law.
Robbie, Kindred Law difficulty. How much Kindred Law do you have?
2.
Okay, difficulty 9.
Elegance? Or just kindred lore?
Intelligence plus Kindred Law. It's always an attribute plus an ability. It's never not one of those things.
Wow. 3 successes.
Oh wow, okay. And it's difficulty 9, not difficulty 8.
Well, 1 success still.
Success. You've heard in passing of Arcadius. He's a fairly old and powerful venturer. His main claim to fame is his Mithraic fanaticism. You actually you don't know too much about him. You know he's an elementary prince. He's the Prince of Bath in Britain.
Okay.
Pretty old, pretty powerful venturer, and he's a prince, but you don't really know much else.
Oh, it is certainly much different in the Holy Land. Quite a few changes. But Cleanse Gangrel, are they as standoffish and, well, are they keeping to themselves, as they do sometimes?
As transparent as glass.
Out of character, did he say that about the Gangrel or about me?
Both of you. Actually, just, well, he seems to refer it in sarcasm in reference to you or your clan. He doesn't really comment on the gangrel. He'll say, well, he says it's transparent as glass. The gangrel, lovely though. He kind of smirks in kind of a drunken fashion. He looks amused at his own comment.
You know, my clan has certain unique difficulties with transparencies.
Who doesn't?
Strange that way.
I would consider it common knowledge. Anyone with half an education knows what your plans, strengths, and weaknesses are.
Of course.
Nobody can see you. Because you throw shadows everywhere. Unfortunately, mirrors don't really appreciate that. They like a bit of sunlight.
Quite so. Madeline sits there and looks at him for a moment as she just says, being an educated man and quite up to date on current events, I wonder, what do you think that I have come to this city? Other than visiting it and appreciating its local scenery?
Probably to wage a war on my clan. He shrugs. You're certainly not here to see the view, because the view is awful. So you're probably here on business.
Quite so. But then again,
Aoife loves to sing. She is like the most colourful canary.
colorful indeed.
An absolute beauty and a darling. She is exquisite.
The good sheriff of this city. Would you say that he is just being overprotective, or would you say that he is indeed a hindrance to this city?
I saw the conversation with mention of him. He's a mess. That's what I think he is. And he can come and stop me if he wants. He can silence me, he can assassinate me, he can do what those warriors do. At the end of the day, if I don't show up, everyone's gonna know who did it. And everybody's gonna bring out their own teeth and take a shot. So it's not like I'm going anywhere. And besides, you'd never hear the end of it from Talifa. So if I'm going to die, well, he's going to go die knowing that someone's going to bitch about me dying. It's more of a funeral service than most of us will get.
I'm sure that won't happen for quite some time, if ever.
Yeah, give me a few months, I'll sort it out.
I've never ceased to be amazed at how well Ventru manage, well, everything, to be honest.
Yeah, you're a fun, bro.
Oh, we do well too, but sometimes one has to admit one's limitations and acknowledge it when certain others seem to do either just as well as one or sometimes perhaps even better. You have done well so far in this city. I can respect that.
We're saying, well, I've done well because no one else in the bloody clan is here. For me, I mean, there are a couple neonates, but they're not as experienced a role as I am. It's got a good century or two on me. I've been around the block, been around the taverns, seen the sights, seen the absolutely god awful view. So I know what I'm doing. Neonates are still learning. Don't have the chance to really spread their wings yet. They're without the majority of my clan, I'd say. Most of them don't know up from down, even though they tell you that they are up and you're down. I don't know what happened between the stretching generations, honestly. The ancients of our clan seem so competent, and then you have a bunch of stodgy elders who have no idea what they're doing. And then you got the older blood, but not the younger blood. The youngish old blood like me. We're kind of sick of the mess. And then you got the youngest blood who are just getting stepped on because the others have nothing better to do. They're just stepping on their own subordinates while the Empire's burning around them. I mean, at least Nero played a violin. Jesus. You think you'd find something better to do, but no. Just sadism is what I call it. Ugh, never mind. Point is, to his just exactly the same as a twat.
Sadism. I suppose it could be seen that way. And I doubt that anyone would consider it a good to do, but perhaps they do not realize what a potential gift they are giving these young ones.
Nah, they're being cunts. I mean, what's an elder got to gain? Well, he's got a lot to gain by stepping on a neonate, I guess, but there are times when it's like, you did a good job, now you owe me a major boon. Why? Because I have fucking dominate, fuck you, right? I'll tell you, sooner or later, give it a century or two, when we're older, there's going to be a wreck, and then it's not going to be pretty for anyone involved. It's not sustainable. Absolute travesty. That's why I'm over here. I can live my life, live the next couple of centuries in comfort, and then when it all goes to hell, when shit hits the windmill, I'm going to be there from that god awful view, watching the fire off all day over there, back in Europe.
I would not have taken you for a doomsayer.
I'm not doomsayer. I never said the world would end.
Well, you are not painting a pretty picture, but I suppose you are right.
Well, I mean, yeah, is it pretty? I'd call you an optimist.
No, I would not say. I would say that there are certain things that are quite deep-seated in all mortals and Cainites. And there are certain things that will just stay one way, and well, whether it will build up to a point where it is no longer sustainable, as you say, well, it will merely present other people with opportunities for growth, shall we say.
Growth? Yeah, I mean, if you consider having a bunch of young Cainites and a bunch of old Cainites at each other's fruits, sure, that's what it's going to come down to at the end of the night. I mean, you can only prod the hornet's nest for so long. You might just be on it, but enough of them will just eat you alive. It's kind of like a bunch of rats. Very insulting term, but it's true. You see, I've done a bit of studying. I've dealt with Nosferatu. They like to send out little scurrying messages around. Pain in the ass when you don't know how to talk to them. You can learn some interesting things when you do. Point is, rats on their own, you chase after one, or bugger off, or flee, run away, because can't do anything. You're a big girl, right?
If you fall into a pit with hundreds of rats, well, you better get out quite fast, or you will be their dinner.
Rat swarms eat people. Suddenly, the prey's the predator. It's not just a case of, oh, there's enough of us, we're going to defend ourselves. No, we're going to eat you. You're our meal now, because there's 1,000 of us, and one of you. So have fun with that. That's what neonates are, right? That's what we are. We don't have the ludicrous bullshit. We don't have the silly, oh, I can just snap my fingers and you're all going to sit down and worship me now. But enough of us, it wouldn't matter, would it? Because someone is going to stand up and say, well, screw that. And there's going to be enough of them that'll say, stand up and screw that. And they're just going to set them on fire and then eat their hearts out. And normally that would be a very lovely phrase, but actually it's quite violent and savage. But I mean, We have the usurpers for a clan, so we don't always talk about savagery. We already crossed that line a few hundred fucking years ago.
Or a few thousand, depending on who you listen to.
Yeah, Kane and all that. Not that he's been around there since ever. Well, he's probably not even alive now. I used to say he might not even exist. Could just be all bullshit. One giant conspiracy. Yeah. I mean, we all. We all managed to trick mortals into thinking we don't exist. We used to say we haven't been tricked into thinking Kane exists. Either way, it's one giant shit show. Fortunately, I'm here to watch it happen, and I'm not here to get shit on. I mean, that's to hear, but to hear can't do shit. Here's a pain in my ass. Got through the popular belief. I'm not actually out to kill him, I'm just there to make a point. Like Talitha. You might think Talitha might be planning some shit. I mean, she's been gnawing away at his credibility for quite a few years now, but he wouldn't go full arm. He wouldn't go all out. He isn't there now to do that. She's a warrior of words, but she's no traitor to her clan. I'll tell you that right now.
I wouldn't expect her to be.
Oh, sorry.
She would perhaps see the Viziers have a bigger voice in the city.
Yeah.
And that's what she's doing, and undermining his credibility would be the Vizier way of doing that. But boy, that would be my take.
I mean, I'll tell you this. Despite all the absolute bullshit that happens around here, the city's actually quite nice and stable. You're from Timurin, right, New Domain?
Quite so.
Yeah. You used to be the, can't remember.
The Seneschal of Edessa.
Right, yeah, neighbouring to me. No, how convenient for you.
Quite so.
It's, yeah, I mean, I don't think you would know really the sort of stability that we appreciate around there. I mean, Odessa was never particularly, was stable for a few decades. Then the usurpers kicked off. Any SIs hopped in with the Tismisi and the Garen Brawl, all that nonsense. Then the Venture and the Toreador jumped in, and it's a mosh pit full of a dozen bodies and a bunch of ash on the floor. Then you have that prince come in as to sort it all out, make a bunch more bodies, because that's how it goes. And then you got the Salubri turn up, and they fuck everything up even more. Jesus. You think after getting there, you think after their progenitors slaughtered, they'd take a fucking end. But no, they have to keep fucking poking the bear. You think they would have learned from everyone else? But there you go. It's, yeah, we haven't had really a real incident in about 200 years. This place is boring, but fuck, I prefer it over Odessa any day. No offense.
None taken.
and not putting my neck out every moment. That's why I came here again. Get away from all the nonsense of the war. Clown's too ambitious for his own good.
Madeline's sister considers the man that she's now, well, somewhat certain has a certain need for a specific kind of vitae that is probably that of people in an establishment like a bar. She sits there, considers several things in this giant puzzle.
Apologies once again. We are back.
Right. Madeline is sitting there quite convinced that this guy needs the blood of drunkards to sustain himself, but that is just one of the thoughts going through her mind at this point. As she's sitting there, she's and she seems to nod a bit and she says, "By the way, do you know if there is any of Clan Nosferatu in this city?"
We got a few. They never come above ground.
Hmm.
We basically never see them. You want to get to them, you're going to have animalism. They only treat with very few people. It seems to got an accord with the prince, so don't really know what it's about. But apparently they did quite well for themselves down under, so who am I to judge? Anyway, that's my story, my life. I'm a bit of a twat. Life is full of them. To be honest, as much as I whinge, can't really complain too much. Sort of like better than home, and to hear does keep the peace in spite of the fact that he's a bit of a twat himself. But hey, I mean, if you spend your entire life killing twats, you're gonna be a bit of a twat yourself. Bit overcautious. Bit like myself. I spent the longest period of time getting my head bashed in by Bruder and La Sombra. You're the first time I've met in quite a long time that's been pleasant. Tend to think most of you are twats. Maybe not. Start at least.
Well, I try my best.
That's all one can ask for, really.
The last one well, it's rather a long story, but there was recently one very good friend that I did, well, we were trying to escape from somewhere where we were in trouble, but she did not hold it against me.
My point is, I spent a long time, like to hear, doing this and that and doing all the dirty work, and it sucked. So I can understand where he's coming from with nothing else. It's sad as shit. Maybe you can teach him a thing or two about not being such an asshole all the time. I don't know. Maybe it's a lost cause, but hey, aren't we a people full of lost causes? Honestly, the ones you gotta look out for are the ones who are all polite and nice and shit. Prince has always wanted his word, but that's Seneschal. He's a dodgy one. He's got all the marks. Trust me on that.
You have experienced this because of dealings with him, or just by reputation?
Well, he's certainly not reliable, man. Almost got me killed before the sheriff had to get the prince to bloody intervene.
Exactly how was
Well,
this?
and it did the maid. I had a word of the seneschal and the prince to get myself recognised. Next night, I had the sheriff beating down on my fucking door. I had to run all the way back to his fucking highness and say, look, mate, Jesus fucking bolt, or whatever it is, like Alec, whatever faith you believe in. I'm an egalitarian. I'm like, Jesus Christ, mate. I'm having my house bashed in by a fucking sheriff and his deputies. And if it wasn't for those deputies saying, well, wait a second, maybe he has a point, he's only been there one night, it's taken to the prince, I could have had my head chopped off. And then the same thing happened with one of my neonates. And then, God, so almost happened with Wasim as well. Jesus. There's all this shit, like, there was another time, there was an actual fucking breacher running around. Never found him. We gave all assurances, and then he never did anything. I wonder what you're doing. You know, we asked you, you know, is a domain breacher, you know, an actual domain, you know, it's not a misunderstanding, like when you managed to get the sheriff almost cut on my bloody head. We got someone who actually is breaking the rules. We got people who are being fed off within the streets, you know, being left as a breach of the silence, you know, hardcore problems. Probably some proxy from another domain trying to stir shit up here. You know, make us look bad, make us look like we can't handle ourselves. Make it look like the Princeton needs to be, you know, replaced, if you know what I mean. Because we keep getting preachers of the silence. You never find the bugger. Sheriff is given directions by Seneschal. Seneschal said he's found him, then he's gone. And I'm like, well, how very helpful was it? You know, I mean, he could have just found out that we were onto him, but I mean, what the shit's wasn't that? I mean, this is just one of many cases. Like, there was another time when there was another time when Talitha had arranged for a you know, a little gathering outside Elysium. Wanted to pass it by the Prince. You know, because it's his domain. It's not her domain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she wants to set up an event. Seneschal gives it a go ahead, then the Prince walks in saying, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, well, what are you doing? What's going on here? Like, you know, you didn't tell the Prince? What the hell? Then he goes up and says, oh yeah, no, I was never told. I'm like, well, that's bullshit. I know that much. It's complete nonsense. Guy's fucking dodgy as shit. He's polite to your face, but you know, you give him your hand, he'll cut it off. You know, he's been getting everyone in trouble but himself, and then just been using, you know, plausible deniability and all that nonsense. But really, I mean, Talitha really doesn't like to hear, but you know, I think she's got a little bit twisted in some ways. Seneschal's the real problem. It's just kind of a symptom, you know, being led astray and all that shit. I think he'd chill out a bit if the Seneschal got replaced by someone who actually knew what they were doing. Wouldn't surprise me if he's trying to show the Prince up. Gone for the whole thing himself. He's been spending the last few decades making it look like that, at least. Fucking worrying. And not just that, but it's like, it's basically been everyone who's ever, like, you know, interesting little pattern. Everyone who's ever spoke out against the little shit show we got with this whole, you know, white supremacy thing. Oh, well, there we go. You're fucked. Wouldn't be surprised if the Prince was clamping down either. Might just be trying to place the blame on Essential, I don't know. After all, it's rumoured we are awfully close to their main stronghold. Wouldn't surprise me if they had tight security. A lot of elders for lot of elders from one clan for a single domain. We are, yeah. But yeah, that's my theory. I think the Seneschal's pulling some shit. But then again, as I say, it could just be the Prince. Then Seneschal takes all the blame. Prince gets off scot-free, you know. Prince gets what he wants, Seneschal gets fucked, but you know what? We can just get another one. And then everyone, you know, glares at the sheriff and the Seneschal, and the Prince looks like an angel in response. So, you know, could be anyone really. But my bet's on that Seneschal. Can't trust a man who looks that honest. Every man who tries to look honest, they're trying to look honest because they're actually dishonest. If you're honest, you're just honest and don't try and look like it. You just are, you know? You don't carry the prestigious bullshit around with you. No, mate, you're not definitely better than anyone else. You're just a twat. Anyway, I should probably get going. Delifa probably wants to know what fucking antics I've been getting up to, and I can tell him I had a lovely chat with you, and then probably somewhere in this conversation called you a twat, either directly or indirectly, and then she'll make fun of me.
Sounds like a good time.
Then I'll call her a whore.
Why? As long as she understands the good-natured spirit it is meant in, I suppose it is not a problem.
Fucking the best-natured friend. Now, if you excuse me, I have a prostitute to yell at.
That's better. She
That's
smiles in response and bids him farewell.
I have some humour, you twat. And you'll bugger off towards Salita. And the situation literally plays out exactly as he said. Where do you go now? Or what do you do?
Madeline will sit there for just a moment to think of what was said. She begins to think of the seneschal. She begins to make calculations, or at least approximations in her own mind, like, is the seneschal actually trying to improve his position? If so, that would be very interesting information to consider if she went and met him privately before the meeting, but then again, she's on shaky ground pretty much no matter who she talks to, unless it's only pleasantries, of course. She will get up and she hasn't seen the sheriff, right? Like, the sheriff hasn't, it was only the first night he was, like, shadowing her.
Pardon?
The sheriff has not been, like, she hasn't seen the sheriff except for that one first night where he was there
No.
constantly.
You've only seen him for the one night. Why do you want to find him?
So, I will probably go and speak with the seneschal.
Alright.
Yes.
Actually, where are you going? Alright. So you're gonna go speak with Seneschal. You gotta find him. He's gonna be where the prince is at, which is the castle in the center of town. It's also where you'd find a sheriff.
Oh, okay.
It's less a palace. It's just literally a military fortification. It's fairly simple in its luxuries. It's much more ascetic than Timurin. Could you please roll me perception alertness?
I will roll that perception alertness. Yeah, so that's, well, depending on difficulty, of course. Either 3 or...
3 successes, alright. Alright. You're walking down a road. And you know, you're making way over to the castle. You've been walking for about 5 to 10 minutes. You take a cut through the main road down a side road. Again, it's well lit. It's not. It's hardly an alleyway or anything. It's actually there's still people. The military presence is quite heavy. But then one thing becomes a bit unsettling. You realise you're being followed by someone.
How far back is this person?
Fairly far back.
Okay. Madeline is going to try to, whenever she can get to a corner where she would turn, try to take a corner, then get on the other side, and then wait for like a little, and then try to peek and see who was following her.
Okay.
And hide herself as best as possible.
Roll your deck stuff. I'm going to AFK for a second. I very much apologise for the frequent AFKs.
You're blowing your nose. It's quite all right, and I understand. It is quite fine.
How many successes did you get on your stealth roll?
I got 2.
I guess 3 successes to spot you. You bastard. Alright. You go and hide. You dart around the corner. I wasn't. Oh dear. Bad ST, not bad. Okay. So you round a corner and you go hide. There's plenty. It's quite a thin little. What's a side path? This is basically an alley. There is detritus to hide behind. You actually notice as you go to hide, you begin to see 2 other armed figures approach from the opposite side of the alleyway. They don't seem to spot you, it's quite dark, and the detritus masks you from them. But the other guy, he rounds the corner. You can actually hear him run. When he sees, he gets around the corner, you see him look around. You see him look towards the other men. And they kind of like throw up their hands as if like, ugh. And then he sees your head bobbling by the detritus, and he just actually rubs his helmet as if like, what the fuck are these clowns doing?
You motherfucker. Just quick, do I recognize any of them?
No. They're wearing, let me show you what they're wearing. They're wearing this helmet. They look like military men.
Okay. There are only these 3 people in the alley, right?
Yeah. The guy who sees you, he just points to them.
Yeah, she's gonna run.
Hey, you fools!
She's gonna run.
You're surrounded. Like 2 men are on one side of the alley. He's on the other side.
Okay. Well. Okay. I'm going to ask, what is the meaning of this?
You don't need to know that. What you need to know is that you're not leaving this alleyway. They will all unsheath their swords.
Okay. Madeline will spend 3 blood points, and she will activate. Yeah, fuck it. She will activate Tenebrous Form.
Oh shit! Okay. Warning in advance. This is a breach of silence, to your knowledge.
There are only these 3 in the alley, right?
Yeah. But 3 people are gonna know that. Oh shit! What the fuck? So that you can you're a fucking monster. Unless you intend to kill all of them.
Oh, that's. Oh, right. Okay. Okay, I might have missed. Well.
Because a bunch of soldiers are going to go, look, everybody, look, it's a fucking witch monster thing. It's a demon monster.
Right. I just made well, the thing is...
You can make as many assumptions as you want, but...
yeah, like, does Madeline think that these guys are ghouls? If
I
so,
mean, do you have any way to tell?
that's the problem.
I mean, then you wouldn't know either way. Like, as far as you're concerned for ordinary mortals, because you wouldn't know. You can make the assumption and risk it, but I mean, if you know, it does a more than likely chance you are breaching the zone because you don't know if they're ghouls or not, and you know it's unlikely they're ghouls in the sense that the ratio of man to ghoul is quite skewed in man's favor.
That's
Like it could
true.
be, but
And this city being
it's
what it is.
there's an enormous risk that is a really big assumption you're making just saying that
Right.
up front. Like, you know, you
Um,
can make that jump, but but you wouldn't be able to tell. There's no way you could tell. You'd need to read the
if I
scene.
am being apprehended, I would at least know why I am to be killed. And she will spend blood in dexterity and in um, stamina.
Okay. You don't tell it's a big shadow monster. That's good.
Yeah. I was just completely convinced that these guys were ghouls, so I thought, fuck it. But, yeah. She will. Um, but they're just drawing their swords and just advancing, right?
Yeah, slowly. Well, it's not really advancing. They're kind of. But the two guys at the back have advanced slightly because you're further away from them. Basically, they move within range to run up to you and hit you, but there's still a bit of distance where you can run.
Madeline, actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's try this.
Okay.
Um, she's gonna look into the guy who's closest. She's gonna try to look him in the eyes, and she's going to say to him, "Who sent you?" And that is, I don't know if that is like something that Dominate 1 can do, or you should go for Dominate 2. That I will leave to you.
Because it's a phrase, you're dominating via a sentence, a statement. That would be subjugate. That'd be level 2. Command is one word commands only.
Right. So, what is the roll for that? That is.
It's I think it's manipulation leadership. Let me double check. Yeah, manipulation leadership. Difficulty is your opponent's current willpower.
Nope. It's just a fail, however.
That's a fail. Sorry, dude. You still have 2 others you can try it on. You'll say, hey, why would we tell a foreign spy who we're working for? I'm gonna
Because
roll
I'm going to
his.
ask you again. And she will look at another guy and try to do it again. Whoa, okay.
That's much better.
Who sent you? She will just say to one of the others.
Let me check something real quick. Okay, you got a very high score. At least you rolled a 10, so you rolled 2 10s. That's important for this roll. And you get 4 successes, so he's forced to be quite blunt and honest with you. He can't bullshit you. But I mean, he can't use wordplay. The impression is carved into his mind. And he says, he gets about halfway through the name. He says, Luf, and then his head is just cut off by the other guard.
Loof?
Aloof. And then the other guy literally cuts off the head of this soldier in one massive swing. Would you like to roll perception awareness?
Yeah, because that sounds like pretty.
These guys are heavily armored. Like, to cut off someone's head in this heavy armor is a task. You know, keep in mind, swords aren't actually meant to deal with armor.
They're more giving slashing and perhaps
yeah.
like bruises, more or less.
Like bludgeoning weapons, like maces, were like really good at dealing with armor. In fact, it
Yeah,
made
because
armor
they
dangerous.
because they give like internal injuries.
Yeah, it would blunt the armor, which caused it to turn over on itself and actually injure the person inside it. 2 success. Actually, you have potence. You've existed for a long time. You know what potence looks like. You know what supernatural strength is. This guy's head goes flying, and you know that guy was heavily armored. You know, military grade armor. You know, heavy mail, and he just cut through him. That's not normal.
Yeah.
Your first instinct is potence. You have other laws which suggest other supernaturals which possess great strength. But your first instinct is potence because that's what you're familiar with.
She will just say, "So, your master, some dominator, has sent you to deal with me. That is fine."
Caleb, he just says, they seem kind of like, you know, oh shit, let's do it, sort of thing. Like, no more messing around. They're not playing with their food anymore. You got them good. They had to kill one of their own.
Yeah, Madeline at this point is... she's going to... actually, she's probably just going to waste these dudes. Because they're clearly going to kill her, and that's not in her plan, so...
Yeah, roll initiative. So they don't have great initiative scores. Yeah, one of them would have that. It's -2. 3. Yeah, that guy's shit.
13.
And the other guy is a bit better. He's a bit better.
15 for me.
Alright, you're going before both of these guys.
There is still no one else than us three, right?
No, you died around the corner. You're going to you kind of went down a side path, which is already kind of sparsely populated when you went down an alley to escape the guy initially, to escape your stalker. So now you're kind of well out of the way of any out of anyone else. Like no one's really coming down this pathway.
Okay,
and,
good.
You know, when someone starts to hear sword swingings and metal clashing, people tend to stay the fuck away from that area.
She is going to. You know what? She's going to activate. She wants to. I think it's number 2 in Observation. That is.
Hey, you wanna nocturne it?
Yes, just make darkness around her and just spread it out just enough so that the 2 are affected.
Yep.
So
roll their roll their okay, that's that guy's stamina. That's that guy's stamina. Okay, well, they're pretty fucking pretty fucking tough dudes.
they're soldiers. Yeah, I can probably cover both of them.
You can cover both of them. It's not a big space.
I have an observation rating of.
Well.
I have an observation rating, I believe, of 5.
Yes.
So they're at -1 and -2 respectively.
That's right. Now they just have their stamina pools reduced by 2. It includes you, by the way.
Okay. And they probably can't see anything.
Yeah, they can't see anything at all. They're completely blind fighting you right now. And I'm actually going to make them make a they're going to need to make a successful perception roll to back you. You know, first of all, they need to do something entirely different because they've never seen this before. They need to roll for roll track because they're ghouls. But this one succeeds. That one botches by 2 degrees. Okay. That guy botches his courage roll. That's funny. Alright, we'll start off with the guy who can actually make a roll to see if he can find you. This is perception. We'll say he gets a D10. It's minor. He can't see you. He's blind fighting. That means he's making this 8. He has 4d10 because he's wearing heavy armor. He does not hit you, he completely whiffs. He doesn't even get close to you. You can hear the muffled sound of metal hitting stone. Oh wait, no. Yes. Yeah, it's his turn. So the guy who botched his frenzy check gets to make a roll. He strikes his friend. 3 plus 3 plus the 1 success, which is 7, plus his potence rating, which is 2. Actually, he's frenzying, so he automatically spends the potence. I find that funny. Okay, that's 4 lethal. The other guy will use his armor, and he has his stamina reduced by 2, so he only has. Let's just check how much armor he has. Okay, yeah, he does get. He does get 4 armor to this. He does have a respectable 5 dice to soak. He soaks half of it. You can hear the roaring of someone's beast out of control. It's very muffled. Your nocturne is actually containing the noise of this engagement.
Yes. So it's top of the initiative.
Yes.
Madeline's going to go over.
Yeah, because you have dark sight, I'm going to say if you want to attack someone, you only lose 2 perception dice. You just double check how Generation works at level 2.
I think I can see through my own, but that's just.
Not in Dark Ages. I actually found that out in Season 1 when I first used the power.
Okay. Well, Madeline is like, she's going to go over and take the dead guy's weapon because she's unarmed at this point.
Yeah. Can you please make me a perception alertness roll? A 2 dice penalty, difficulty 8. No, not difficulty 8 because you have dark sight. So you don't take the difficulty. Yeah, it's just the minus dice. Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna say you can't pick up the weapon, and you're gonna be blind fighting for this turn.
Fair enough.
Because you failed that perception roll. You don't. You know the sword dropped. You don't know where it landed.
Okay.
And if you had all specs active for that roll, I don't know if you had all specs active for that roll.
She might have, and given that this is kind of life and death.
Well, I mean, it was if you declared it beforehand.
Well, she's blind fighting this round.
Okay, fair enough.
She's spent 4 blood. I'm just keeping tabs here. And she is going to. Yeah, I'm gonna do up to version 3 now.
Okay, fair enough. Nope.
Nope, I'm not.
That's a really fucking shit roll. What the fuck? That's 8 dice.
But yeah, it's their turn now.
Well, I'm just gonna try a block roll. If he's being fucking struck at. Both of them, they're gonna be blind fighting for the rest of this scene. Yeah, he's in range now. I don't think I actually had him roll. That's no, it's on that way. He's blind fighting. I did 2. He still gets 2 successes off that roll. 5 lethal damage. Takes 2. He's at 5 lethal damage. You hear the total chaos of screaming and metal play, at least close to you. Again, it's very muffled.
Yes, I'm going to. I'll try that again. Up to version 3. Wow, that is a lot of tentacles.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 tentacles. They all act in concert, but they all get separate actions. They just all go on the same time.
Okay.
They'll go. Frankly, these mooks are got shit initiative rolls, so I'm just going to say they go directly after you.
Okay. They are going to beat the fuck out of the guy who's obviously out of his mind. Or lost. What do I roll for that?
Roll perception awareness to distinguish for 2. You get a 2 dice penalty again because of Nocturne, but it's still a diff 6.
Right.
Okay, you can see them. You can distinguish them between the 2 easily. You can see one of them is clearly frenzying.
Okay, he gets hit with the tentacles.
Wait,
so
the guy's frenzying?
yeah, the guy who's frenzying.
Fair enough.
Do I just roll a 1 attack and then, or
No, they all make separate attack rolls. You have Nocturne Aberration 5, yes?
yes?
So they're all going to roll 5 dice.
Do you want me to roll it, or will you do it?
I'll just roll it 4 times. I'll just do that now. Okay, that gets nothing. That gets something. Something. And that's 6d10.
And I will spend a blood for potence, so all of them get 2 automatic successes added to their attack.
I can't remember what rules I used for this. You've got dot penance as well. Okay. So they're dealing 6 plus 2. So I'll roll an extra d10 then. Oh, no, that's a 1, so unit is free. Oh yeah, no, I only have the 1 stamina roll that applies to every tentacle because it's easier that way. So he takes 3 damage, so the first one was 5 plus 1, 7. This one missed. So good. Okay, it hits him, hits him for 1. Okay. The tentacles lay on this guy, but they don't do a ton of damage. Oh, they actually do strength plus 1 bashing, so I'll roll 3d10. Okay. No effect. Okay. Yeah, same result. You inflict 1 bashing damage to the frenzying lunatic, but he botched his roll by 2 degrees, so he doesn't pay any attention to you.
Okay.
He can't even see you. Something slaps him on the back lightly.
But he did take some bashing, right?
He did take damage. You did see one of the tentacles buckle his armor pretty badly.
Okay. Then it is their turn.
Oh yeah, like I should have rolled an extra d10 for his stamina. I'll roll that next turn. Let's head down. Let's go straight back. Die now. He's at -2, so he gets like 8. He doesn't think the other guy's going to face. 8 then. 3 plus 3 plus 1. He's a ghoul, so he's running out of. I think he's run out of blood. No, he'd probably still have at least 8 blood point left. No, if they're well fed, they probably have 5 blood points. So yeah, another 5 lethals. Maybe all over for goal number 1. It is. He falls dead. However, this means you have a frenzying ghoul who is about to run away.
Madeline is going to she's going to control the tentacles, and they're essentially going to grab him. Grapple him.
You act before your tentacles. Your tentacles take separate actions, so what do you do first? Because it's top initiative.
Right.
You can just hold your action if you want.
Can she... Well, you can't do that with Frenzy being vampire. She will just... Actually, she will go over to the person who has just died.
Okay.
And drink from him, if she can do that.
You can do that.
And she takes 3 blood points.
Okay. Your tentacles will focus on grabbing the dude. 60 then. You gave them stuff. Well, copy paste that. I believe these successes are cumulative. One's a botch, takes away success. Plus his potence. His potence is active currently, so it's only 60-10. It's 6 successes. That's not enough. He is grappled. So the frenzied ghoul is grappled.
Madeline will see if she can pick up the sword to this guy who is dead here. I'll roll perception again to see if I can spot it.
Yep. You do. You can pick it up.
She picks it up, and we'll just try to stab this guy.
Okay, he's grappled. He's immobilized. You're at -2 div to hit him.
So that is what? That is...
Dex melee difficulty 4.
But I don't get minuses for, or increased difficulty for Nocturne?
No, because you're not blind fighting. You can see.
Oh, that was just for 1 round. That's right. It was only for 1 round. Right. So that's...
Yeah, this time you succeeded on your alertness roll, so you can see what's going on. Okay, well, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. Well, your strength +4 +3 because it's a long sword, and you're wielding it two-handed, which is +3 instead of +2. So it's your strength +3 +4 successes plus your potence. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah.
That's 5, right?
Yeah, actually got 6. So, yeah, that's not which I rolled for, so I messed up that. On success, you do 3 lethal to him. He doesn't suffer with penalties because he's in frenzy. It is tentacle times again.
They're going to huck him.
You fed from him, and then yeah, tentacle's going to constrict. This is their damage. This is their damage roll because they've already constricted him. Roll to attack. Your roll to soak all of that. He takes most of it. Takes another bashing. He is grappled. He cannot move. And Obtenebration has fantastic support abilities.
Yes.
So, he's taken 4 and he's taken 2, so he's almost dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's a crippled. He'll make one more attempt to break free with the last blood point he has as a goal. Okay. That'll be against. He gets 5 successes because he's spending opponents. 60, 10. Yeah, they hold on to him. Rory. Yeah. I need to write down the rules he's for grappling and observation. Anyway. They hold on to him. It's no big deal.
Choppity chop chop.
Basically.
3 plus.
He loses the grip of several of your tentacles. Tentacles 2 and 4 drop off.
That's fine.
He beats those out, like, easily in successes. You chop. That's 1, 2, 3. You know the drill.
Well, that would be like 2 extra, right? 2 extra.
Strength plus 2 plus 3 plus your opponents.
That would be 8.
It's only 3. I think that's 4. That's 3. Okay, you kill him. He dies. You scrape the sword into his chest and he falls to pieces. Okay, and no one passed by at all. In fact, no one has been in this area for the past 5 minutes. This area is completely deserted. There's a chance that I roll a 10. So the silence could not be more well kept. In fact, it's probable. I'm just going to give you this for free because you rolled a 10 on the chance die. You could probably sneak one of these corpses off to this to the prince. There's a corpse wagon nearby.
She will do so because, well, she will. Can she take all 3 of them or just one of them? Because
you can take all 3 of them, but you'll basically be drawing a corpse wagon by yourself. Basically, there's a cart nearby, and a bed wrap.
okay, she will
just
just hide. Like, if she can't have all 3 with her, she will just make sure that they're hidden. But like, so it's not like
again
an alarm will be raised.
Today. You are very convenient. Very conveniently placed cart and bed wrap. Oh.
But yeah, she will wrap one up, and she will just. She did get a little blood from one of the dead guys, so she's not that hungry, but she's a little like, oh, that was a little bit of a workout. But she will wrap the person in and just yes, take the wagon and begin to make her way to the meeting.
Well, is this not a lesson to never mess with an ancilla of Clan Sombra. I think with this little event, would be wise to end the scene here and begin negotiations and executions, potentially. Next scene.
Quite so. Thank you very much, ST for STing, and watchers for watching. And if I may say so myself, players for playing. And have a good night.